Let's talk about what your second and third row passengers are going to find. First of all, we've got the shade drawn back so you can see the nice large panoramic sunroof. That front portion will open, and this is your power shade that can be drawn back and forth depending on what you need to do with that. As far as the door panel goes, I'll let you see the door panel over there on the passenger side. A nice large comfortable armrest, nice padding built in. I like that, plenty of space. We're going to have the large door bin beneath that area. And you'll notice that area right there in the center, how it's kind of got that cutout between the speaker and that next area of the door panel itself. That's so that you can put a taller bottle in there and it's going to fit just fine. So basically unlimited size where that's concerned. Now, depending on how things go with who's sitting here in the second row, if you need additional leg space for your third row passengers, guess what? You've got quite an option for that. Now, I don't expect anyone to sit this far forward. I don't know, maybe a child or something if they happen to be sitting here, but you can move these seats back and forth quite a bit depending on what you need to do. And on top of the seat is a button. We're going to push that button. I say we're going to. It didn't work the first time. There we go. Get that up and out of the way. Now I can hop into the third row. We're going to pull this seat back. It's not going to come as far back as it would. It would normally come to about right here in this area, but you can see how much leg space there potentially could be back here. And something that I really like that is very different from, again, those GMC and Chevrolet SUVs, the full-size models, you have a much larger, wider pass-through right here. That is a nice advantage. I think that works quite well. Now, we're going to have seating for 3 people back here. We're going to have the roof-mounted air conditioning vents. You know, I like that more than anything that would be down lower. And we'll take a look over here. We're going to have a little bit of storage right here, the cup holder, and then we're also going to have the buttons right here. And what does that do? Notice those buttons right there above the cup holder? That allows me to recline these seats. So that's going to be nice and useful. We're going to have USB connectivity, as you can see. Now, the advantage here, as you would imagine, nothing out of the ordinary. You're going to have the identical controls on both sides. And if somebody doesn't want to use that nice wide pass-through right there to get out, they can push this button once again on the top of the seat and then go right out. First thing I noticed when I hopped into the second row, if you've watched my other videos on the Yukons and the Suburbans and all of that, one thing I always talk about is that GMC and Chevrolet, Cadillac all need to set things up to where the armrest is as tall as the seat itself. And this one's actually a little bit taller. Why do I say that? Because with their armrests, my arm is about like this, but here it actually fits. That's perfect. It could stand to be a tick longer, but you know what? It depends on the person's length of their arms. But in this case, it definitely works for me. I can be very comfortable with that. So we're going to have that with our captain's chairs right here. And we're going to have a couple of cup holders on the back of the center console, and then our command center right here for the third zone of climate control. You're going to adjust fan speed, temperature. You can turn the heated seats on and off. You can see all of that right there. And then below, we're going to have more connectivity options depending on what your passengers need. And if you're wondering about USB connectivity, it's located on the seat back in kind of an interesting little spot, just right underneath here. There is some options depending on what your vehicle is optioned with for putting in things such as these screens and whatever else you might need.